How's it going, guys? This week I'm making 6 cutting boards in the shape of Michigan on my CNC machine. If you guys want to know how to make these, or you're interested in a CNC machine and you're kind of wondering if it'd be beneficial for your business, then stay tuned and hopefully this video will help you out. So let's go ahead, get started. So for this project, I'm going to be using some 1x6 maple, and I have 2 boards at 7 feet long, so that's a total of 14 feet. Now I'm going to go ahead, head over to my table saw, and I'm going to cut these into about 14-inch pieces, and then from there, I'm going to take those 14-inch pieces and edge band about 6 of them together, so then I'll have 6 pieces that are about 11 inches wide total. So let's go ahead, head over to the table saw, and start cutting these up. So now that I have all these cut to roughly 14 inches, I can go ahead and take 2, put them together, and this is gonna give me a board that's wide enough for my cutting board and tall enough as well. Now, before I go ahead and just glue these together, if you look really close here, there's actually a gap, and I wanna try to minimize that gap. Even though it's very small, I wanna get that seam to be absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my router table as use it kind of as a joiner, where I can go ahead and hopefully make this edge straighter so that when it butts up, there's absolutely no gap. So I'm gonna go head over to my router and show you what I'm talking about. So what I did now was I basically set up my router to act like a joiner, except it's flipped over on the side. So instead of running the pieces through like this, I'll be running them through like this. I have a straight bit here that's lined up with this fence. This fence is boosted out by 2 washers, and this fence is in more. So when it comes across, it's gonna shave a little bit off, and that's gonna straighten the edge, and then the straight edge will come along out this side. So this idea was actually taken from Steve Ramsey. I'll have the link to his video. He made a really great video showing basically how you do it and how you get the best cut. So that's where I got this from. So I'll have that link in the description for sure. So I really encourage you guys to go ahead and check that out. But let's go ahead and straighten up all 12 boards. So I went ahead and prepped each side with my router to be edge jointed. Now what I need to do is just go ahead, glue them together, and then clamp it, and then I'm gonna have a board that's roughly 11 inches by 14. And then from here I can go ahead and bring them all down to my CNC machine and cut them out. So after I glued up all 6 boards, I basically went ahead, took a chisel, and I scraped all the glue squeeze out from them all, and I got rid of all of that. And then the leftover glue squeeze out that was still there, I went ahead and took a random orbital sander with some 80 grit sandpaper, and I leveled out all the boards. So now all the boards, if you feel them and without looking, you can tell that it feels like one board. You cannot tell the seam. And then when you look at it, you have to look closely and see the seam, but all in all, I think it came out really good. So what I wanna do now is go ahead, head down to my CNC machine, and I'm basically gonna tell it to cut out the Michigan shape. Now, whatever state you had, you can tell it to cut out that state or country, whatever you're doing. But basically, I'm gonna show you guys one example, and that can be applied to all 6. So let's go ahead, head downstairs, and I'll show you guys my CNC machine and how we carve these up. So I'm in my basement now, where I clamped down one of the 6 boards that I prepped upstairs to be cut. Basically what I'm gonna do is take an image off my computer, in my case, the state of Michigan, and it's gonna send to the machine what size and what image needs to be cut on the actual board. So the computer does a lot of the work. It sends the image and all that to the CNC machine, and then the machine knows exactly what to cut the image and the size and all that good stuff. So I don't have to do anything, I just have to watch it happen. But that's why if you want to make a business with one of these, or you want a CNC machine, you're like, I don't really know if it's gonna pay off. If you want to make a business with them, you can really actually make a lot of money with it, because you don't have to do anything. It doesn't even have to be wood. A lot of these machines now can do plastic, wood, and even aluminum for certain ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and carve this out. If you want to know what CNC machine I'm using, I'll have that in the link in the description. But I'm not being sponsored by them to make this video at all. This is just like how to use a CNC machine for a business. Now any CNC machine will work. Not being sponsored by this company once again, it's just the machine I have. So let's go ahead and carve out these boards. So my machine's done cutting out all these pieces. They all look really good. I really like the way it came out. So what I want to do now is go ahead, take my cutting board oil that I picked up at my local hardware store and apply the finish to all these boards. So I went ahead and I applied the oil to the rest of the cutting boards. I'm really happy with how they came out. I think they turned out really well overall. I'm really happy with the seam here as well, because you can't see like any gaps or anything like that. So it was a nice clean joint between these two boards. So I'm really happy with that. Hopefully this video kind of showed you an example of how it would be beneficial to use a CNC machine, or if you're kind of debating on getting one, if you need to cut out a lot of stuff like this, then I would say yeah, CNC is going to be beneficial in the long run. But if you have to do this like one time, then it's not really worth it. So it's kind of like if you're planning on doing a lot of projects or signs or cutting boards or kind of oddball jobs, CNC machines can be great for that. So I would recommend one if you have to do a large amount of projects like this. If I had to do this one time, then I probably wouldn't buy a CNC machine. But if I'm gonna be doing it over and over and over and over, I think it'd be highly beneficial. So hopefully this video kind of cleared that up for some people if they're wondering, is it really worth it? For a large amount, yes. For a small amount like this, not so much, but it is beneficial when you have one. So I think they will pay off in the long run. But that's it for this video. If you guys like it, please share this video, subscribe, like the video, and all that good stuff. I'd really appreciate it, because that really helps me out in the long run. So that's it for this week's video, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.